What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. Sam here with the birthday boy, the Sultan of Sando, Mr. Gablim, and the returning Mr. Maui Yap, coming fresh from Italy. And surprise, surprise. Syempre, I didn't start with the surprise, diba? It's the Sando Gang episode today dahil birthday ni Mr. Sultan of Sando, Gablim. We're all wearing our Sandos. Maui in his T-Mac jersey. Classic yan. Favorite ni Maui yan, si T-Mac.
How long have we been doing this podcast, Sam?
2-3 years?
2.5 years?
Seasons?
Nabudol din tayo. Nabudol din tayo, Sam.
Nadapasando ko na rin si Sammy!
Ay, goodbye to my, to my life.
So, as my wife said, beer house vibes.
Beer
house!
Parang nanginginom lang tayo. No? Tubig lang to, guys, by the way. Beer house vibes. Solid. That's the perfect way to describe this. Sige. Wala na yung social status ko sa buhay. Anyway, let's get started. Today, we're going to talk about our Gatorade Ballers of the Week, and we're going to read some of your mailbag questions. So, let's get started. If you're new to the show, the Gatorade Ballers of the hashtag Gatorade Ballers of the Week is the segment where Gab, Maui, and I will pick a player, coach, team, or any X factor that helped propel their team to victory, just like how Gatorade can fuel you forward. And kita nyo yung mga water bottles na hawak namin and the hats na suot ni Gab and Maui.
Bakit nakarap pa yan sa amin?
Hindi, para sa ano to eh. Hindi, sasabihin ko, get a chance to win this.
Okay.
So, para sa mga subscribers natin to. So, get a chance to win some of the Gatorade merch that we have. In case you wanna join, just comment down below your hashtag Gatorade Ballers of the Week. Follow or like Gatorade on Facebook and Instagram. And then just follow the instructions in the comment section below. We'll pin them down. And then we'll pick some of the winners. And we'll send you some Gatorade merch. Okay, so let's get started. Maui, the returning, the prodigal son of Boleros. Let's start with you. Matagal ka nang hindi nag-episode, so I'm sure you're raring to share your insights. Sino?
By the way, guys, nanonood pa rin yan ng UAAP habang nasa
habang nasa
kung kaya dedicated si Maui.
Kung kaya.
Kung kaya. Buti yung Globe allows you to use Pilipinas Live internet.
Wow.
But for some of the days, thank you to the Colorum Facebook.
Gcash na yan.
Gcash video sharers on Facebook. I was able to watch yung last game, yung Ateneo UST, because of that. My baller of the week has to be from Ateneo because Ateneo is now back in the Final Four race.
Kaya ka pala
It has to be. No? Kaya ako naka-blue, di ba? Nag-promise tayo, pag nag-sweep ang Ateneo ng first round, magpapakalbo ako.
So second round.
The second round. That's 2 games.
5 wins to go.
5 wins to go. Let's see if that's gonna be possible. Gagawin ko talaga yun, guys. Gagawin ko talaga yung papakalbo ko. But my baller of the week has to be Ian Espinosa for this week. With all the hate, di ba? With all the hate from the community, from everyone, not just the community. Yan ang player na pinakamarami akong hate text na nakukuha, si Ian Espinosa since last season.
Talaga.
And he broke out against UST, di ba? When he scores, it's a big plus, di ba? We all know that Ian Espinosa's best trait is his on-ball defense. And when he's hitting his outside shot, Ateneo's deadly, di ba? And they were able to win against UST, making their record now 3-6 and now just a half game behind UST for that 4th slot sa Final Four. That has to be a sigh of relief for the Ateneo community. And it's happening, guys. Di ba? Yung gusto nating gulo sa bottom of the standings for that Final Four slot. We have basically teams 4 to 8 neck and neck to fight for that last Final Four slot. And I'm excited, di ba? Ian Espinosa is pumped up. As they say, Ateneo's pumped up. The UAAP is another baller, di ba? Kasi because of this will propel them to have more viewers definitely, and we're happy. Anytime we see parity in the league, we're happy. Sam.
Yeah, I can't. I've already said my piece about Ayan. He essentially, him and Balogun and the bench crew essentially kept Ateneo in this game. The starters did not do much except for Chris Kuhn. Bahay was in foul trouble. Porter had 3 points the entire game, missed a ton of close range shots. Josh Lazaro was scoreless. Sean Quiteves made only one field goal, although it was the key field goal of the game. He made only
Crucial.
one field goal.
The most crucial.
It was mostly the bench keeping Ateneo in this game, and it was led by Ian Espinosa. Again, I hope we stop just trying to hate on the guy just because he does not do the things we want him to do, or we want from an Ateneo point guard to do on the court. He's not that player, guys. He's not the guy to give you 20 points a game. He's not SJ Belangal. He's not Fordsky. He's not Matt Nieto. He's Ian Espinosa, and his job is the little things. It's to do the intangibles, to provide good on-ball defense.
6 rebounds.
6 rebounds, as I said.
The smallest guy.
From the 5'8" guard, 6 rebounds, skying for those rebounds is big for Ian, and I'm happy he got the player of the game. He finally is with Tab Baldwin in the press conference. I think that's probably his first time to be with Coach Tab in the press con. I'm really happy for the guy. I'm rooting for him. He is very much underappreciated. He's improved a lot from last season, and I think that needs to be recognized by a lot of fans, especially from the Ateneo community. Sammy.
Yeah, you said it. He's a solid backup point guard, diba? We appreciate him for being a solid backup point guard.
That's his role.
That's his role.
People try to compare him to star point
starters.
guards.
Yes.
Star point guards. No, he's a backup and he does his job well.
Exactly. And I think what Maui said sums it up perfectly. When you're solid backup point guard that's there for defense, for his intensity, for his effort, is scoring, rebounding, hitting clutch shots, that bodes well for your team. And that's what Ian Espinosa did for Ateneo against UST, and fortunately it translated into a win, diba? So Ian Espinosa was huge for that win. And I think well-deserved yung hashtag Gatorade Baller of the Week award for Espinosa. I sort of have him in my pick also, but let's go with Gab first.
Well, I have to give it to someone from FEU, or if not to FEU completely, but it has to be for Joric Bautista and Mo Konate, since I am going with FEU. So Joric Bautista, once again, hitting big shots in the clutch. That's 3 wins for FEU. 3 times he's delivered in the clutch. Amazing. Just amazing from Joric Bautista. Again, FEU was up by 1, and then Joric hit the back-breaking 3 to put them up for a 2-possession game with, I think, less than a minute remaining. Big time from Joric. Again, if we had a clutch player of the season, a clutch player of the year to give out for the UAAP, I think Joric would be front runner to that. If not, maybe with KQ, because KQ has hit some plus shots this season. But Joric is just amazing. Just amazing. The clutch genes. Remember, this guy was virtually an unknown in season 85. I was the only guy who paid.
Yeah, I remember that, Gab. He was your underrated, or ano nga ba yung pick mo? Basta sabi mo, breakout player.
An honorable mention to a possible breakout player.
Breakout player, yeah, I remember that.
Honorable mention pa nga siya eh. So, I was the only one who took notice of him in season 85 because I saw him play and I was like, this guy has a good shot. He can handle the ball much better than Royce Alforque and their other guards, and even si Brian Sahonia back then. And I said, FU possibly has something in Joric. And it's paying off because the rumors are They chose him over Ray Remogat. So
Buti na lang.
it's bubuti na lang he's delivering, because that would have looked pretty bad if Joric was not good and they chose him over Ray Remogat. The fact that Ray Remogat of who Ray Remogat is right now. So kudos to Joric Bautista, and yung may other pick, Mo Konate, again, completely underappreciated and underrated player for this season. Na yun, nakwento ko to kay Sammy Maui. I've had 4 separate conversations already this season. 4 in person and 1 from the comment section na sinasabi na only Mo Tongkara and Precious Momoway are the competent or star FSAs this season. As para ako, guys, nakakalimutan nyo ba si Mo Konate of FEU and how he's leading the league in rebounding absurdly? I think he's averaging 17, 18 rebounds a game. And he's playing the most minutes on FEU. He played 39 minutes against NU, rested for a minute. That's some Precious Momoway shit right there. And he's dominating. He's against LaSalle. He essentially faced off against the entire front line of LaSalle and did not give an inch. And it's now resulting into wins. People are noticing he's not, as you said, Sammy, he's not a flashy big man. You know, he doesn't have big dunks.
Yeah.
He doesn't have, the flashiest post moves like Cedric Manzano or si Christian Manaytay. But he just gets the job done. He gets putbacks. He's there for the dunker spot. He knows how to catch the ball in pick and roll. Stable. Hindi siya butterfingers parang si Henry Agunane. No, he's able to catch the ball and lay it in. He's able to hit free throws as well, an underrated part of his game. Mo Konate is having a terrific season. FEU, as we've said over and over again this season, they have a heck of a decision to make for next season, because if they take Mo Konate out of the lineup, that would be, in my opinion, a big mistake. Unless Shelton is some crazy good and dominant force, it would be pretty hard for me to justify if they actually take out Mo Konate from season 88 lineup. That would be crazy to me, considering how good he's performing now. And the fact that I think he's only 20 or 21. So he has a long runway, a long runway of eligibility. He's eligible for, I think 3 or 4 more years. They definitely should invest more in Mo Konate. Grabe yung performance niya this season. In fact, if FEU was winning more, I think you would even count him as MVP frontrunner or atop of the MVP race. Diba? Oh, Maui, Sam.
Wow.
Yeah. I agree. We've been saying this on the show in kay Mo Konate. I think he's one of the most steady and stable big mans. Diba? If you look at the FEU team, this season, of all their games, the most consistent thing is Mo Konate. Diba? Everyone has struggled. VJ Pre has struggled. Pasaol has struggled. Even Joric Bautista has struggled a ton of times, a ton of games. But when you look at the box score, when you watch the games, it's the same old Konate, diba? He gives off that energy.
Consistent, no?
Diba? He is able to get a ton of rebounds. They're not bullied anymore, diba? That's been the problem of FEU the past few seasons. They've always been bullied inside. And much like Gab, I would be surprised, diba? Even if Shelton was a monster, I wouldn't choose Shelton over Konate just because of what Gab said also na may runway, diba? You're building up a team. You're building a team around Pasaol. You're building a team around Pre. You should build a team around Konate. These 3 players should be your cornerstones to make the Final Four. If not this year, then maybe next year, diba? I think they could be the building blocks for a potentially good FEU team. When was the last time that FEU actually had a competent FSA? Diba? That's something that's very important here in the UAAP. With regards to Joric, I think it's no coincidence that when he started playing well, especially in the clutch, that's when FEU started to win. Diba? During the first round, FEU struggled to win those out games. And when Joric started to show up in the clutch and really just put a stamp on the game and said na this is my team, I'm the veteran, I'm taking over. That's when FEU really started to rack up wins. That would be something very key for them if they would to continue their streak and make the Final Four. But Joric Bautista is building his resume to get to the pros. I really like what I've been seeing, not just a spot-up shooter anymore. Very deadly. I really like yung turn-around jumper niya near the free throw line. It looks like a very bad shot, but it's actually one of his signature moves, diba?
His favorite move talaga.
Yeah,
he
his
uses it
favorite
every
move.
time.
His go-to move. I think that would be key for FPU. If Joric Bautista continues to be hot in the clutch, then maybe they could still sneak into the Final Four. It's probably the third or fourth year in a row na ito yung comment natin. Sayang, if they started out very good in the season, they could have been easily the number 3 or even fighting for the number 2 slot, similar to how UE is doing, diba? But since they started again at 0-5, it's a bit challenging. But with what's been happening during the start of the second round, anything's possible if you can still make it. Sam.
Yeah, I love the pick. I love the Joric Bautista pick. We've talked about him. Actually, my Gatorade Baller of the week is Ateneo and FEU. The bottom 2 teams of the first round. So you guys talked about Ian Espinosa, Gabi talked about Joric performing well nung past few games nila. For me, we need to give Ateneo and FEU some credit. They were the bottom 2 teams. Now they're tied with Adamson for 5, 6, 7. They have a chance. For some reason, they actually have a chance to make it to the Final Four. I don't know how that happened, but we're here now. They both won 2 straight wins. So they're on a winning streak. Can't believe we're saying that for these 2 teams that won just 1 game in the first round. Actually, both teams beat NU, which is a good thing for them kasi si NU yung katay din nila, no, yung in the first round. But they also beat pretty good teams. Final 4 contenders. FEU beat Adamson, I think. Ateneo beat UST. Gabi talked about Ian Espinosa. I think what's good here is in the wins that we've seen from FEU and from Ateneo. Etong past week na to, the other guys have stepped up. So for Ateneo, it's Ian Espinosa. You mentioned Sean Quiteves, that crucial steal and the only basket that he had. Balogun also hitting his free throws, 7 out of 9 from free throw range. For FEU, Gabi, you pointed this out. Royce Alforque had clutch layups. I think back-to-back clutch layups
2 clutch
in
layups.
that game. The return of Cholo Año-Nuevo, very pleasant or welcome sight for FEU fans. The rookies are also looking a lot more comfortable. I think both teams, I think it was Coach Sean Chambers and then it was Ian Espinosa who both said na hindi na kayo rookies. This is the second round. You know how the UAAP looks like, how it feels like. Now it's time for you to step up and get going. And the rookies have showed up. Obviously VJ Pre and Pasaol and then the Porterhouse connection for Ateneo. Those guys are getting better. And that's a good sign for both teams, not just in this season, in their fight to hopefully make it to the Final Four, but also for the upcoming seasons, diba? That's what that's part of their core for the future. Eh. And then I think we need to give credit to the coaching staff also of both teams. They've made the necessary adjustments. Maraming feedback si Maui at si Gab with the way the teams were performing in the first round. Obviously, nanonood ng Boleros si Coach Sean tsaka si Coach Tab. And they've made the adjustments and they're competing. And they're giving their fans hope. Yun lang naman ang gusto ng mga fans, diba? Is hope na you can compete with the best teams and fight for that Final Four contender. So I think for me, good picks. You can pick any player from Ateneo or FEU. I'm picking Ateneo and FEU as my hashtag Gatorade Ballers of the week.
I think si Sean Chambers na nakikinig si Boleros, hindi ako sure kay Coach Tab. Marami pa rin akong gustong
gripes.
Go. Marami pa rin akong gustong gawin na gustong sabihin kay Coach Tab na baka pwede naman niyang gawin for some. But anyway,
Coach Tar.
the good part about Ateneo FEU is lahat ng these past two wins for both teams have both been clutch wins, which they have
Good
struggled
point.
the first
Good
round.
point.
Both
Pero
of
they
the
had a
teams.
bunch of close
Tama.
games. Oh,
Both of the
tama,
teams.
tama.
Yung both of the teams, FEU lost a bunch of close games in the first round. Remember their game against NU in the first round? They lost by 1. They crumbled in the fourth quarter.
Paso all missed his free throws.
All misses free throws. Maraming ganun for FEU. Same thing with Ateneo. How many fourth quarter meltdowns did we see from Ateneo in the first round? What, 3 or 4 fourth quarter meltdowns? Remember the UE game, the UST game, UP game. There were a ton of fourth quarter meltdowns for Ateneo. But now, both teams are learning how to finish in the clutch, are learning how to close out games. Diba? If they don't make the Final Four this season, at least you're getting experience in close games, knowing how to play in clutch situations, learning how to execute, experiencing that pressure, and maybe you can bring that towards next season. I don't know if either of these two can make the Final Four. Again, as we said sa last episode, medyo malabo. Both of them still have not faced UP or LaSalle. So, you can essentially count those two games for those two teams as losses. Diba? So, well, essentially, siguro mga 90%. If you were to bet, malamang matatalo sila to UP and LaSalle. So, they will both end up with 8 losses. Now, UP and Adamson might have to lose to a couple of teams that are not UP and LaSalle.
UST and Adamson.
UST and Adamson. Sorry, so they might have to lose to teams that are not UP and LaSalle for Ateneo and FEU to even have a chance to make it. So, may chance, pero medyo malabo, but at least may chance. And they're improving and they're closing out games. So, Ateneo FEU, baka for season 88 pa kayo, pero at least may hope kayong binibigay sa mga fanbase niyo.
Okay. Pasensya na guys, baka sabihin nyo homer pick, pero minsan lang maging baller of the week yung Ateneo or FEU. So,
palagi silang Boleros nung first round.
Palagi silang Boleros.
Bigay nyo na sa amin to.
Bigay nyo na sa Ateneo at sa FEU. Okay, so that's it for our Gatorade Ballers of the week. Before we end, don't forget, comment below your pick for hashtag Gatorade Ballers of the week. Get a chance to win Gatorade merch or products. We'll be announcing the winners siguro in our next episode, succeeding episodes, or on our Instagram. So check out our Instagram page also. Okay, next part of our episode today, we're going to do round 2 of our mailbag questions, Boleros mailbag questions. So thank you guys. We super appreciate all the people who sent in the questions. Again, we won't be able to cover all the questions kasi ang daming nag-send, so we really appreciate it. But we'll try to keep doing this in succeeding episodes. We'll try to cover your other questions. So let's get started. This is a question that... Sorry, wait lang . Technical difficulties tayo dito. Okay. So this is a question that we got last time that we didn't get to cover, and very interesting question. So this is for Gab and Maui. Here's a question for your next episode. So on Twitter, I'm seeing some talk from Pinoy basketball fans saying that some of our players are or were actually better than Yuki Kawamura. Congrats, by the way, to Yuki Kawamura for getting a 2-way contract. And that they just aren't getting the same opportunity for certain reasons. This is another topic altogether. Anyway, my question is, do you think there's anyone currently in the UAAP who can reach Yuki's level? And if not, how come? So, yun yung question. Gab, I know you're raring to answer this question. Ano sagot mo dito?
Yes.
Shout out to Drew, by the way.
Shout out to Drew. But first of all, the tweet that kind of brought this question to birth was coming from Noli Ayala, who said that Kawamura certainly earned his spot on an NBA roster, saddened though that a local born Filipino still hasn't been given this chance. Kawamura is good, but our players are as good, if not better. Okay, first of all, that is just great disrespect to Yuki Kawamura. Bro, he's already killing it in the NBA. And sorry, Sir Noliela, but you didn't have to say that our players were as good or as better. Essentially throwing shade to Yuki Kawamura. This guy was the B League MVP, I think 2 seasons ago or last season. He was he was averaging 20 points a game and 8 assists a game on crazy true shooting percentage in the Olympics. Almost beat France, if not for a very questionable
Questionable.
three
Yeah.
point foul called on Kawamura in the last few seconds. Home cooking by France, maybe, but they almost beat France. They were close in majority of their games. This guy was a freaking beast in the Olympics. The highest level of competition, he was a beast. That earned him an Exhibit 10 contract with the Memphis Grizzlies. And now, as Sammy said, he got elevated to a two-way contract with the Memphis Grizzlies. That is how good he's been. And if you've been following NBA basketball and the preseason, you know he's been really good for the Memphis Grizzlies. Diba? So please stop it. There is no one on the same level right now in Philippine basketball, in my opinion, close to Yuki Kawamura. If not, makita naman yun eh. Diba? We have players playing in foreign leagues, but they're not getting call-ups to the NBA because they're not as good as Yuki Kawamura. Let's put some respect to Yuki Kawamura's name. He's earned it. And not just say there are players of the same caliber here that could be the same as Yuki Kawamura. That is disrespectful. Put some respect on Yuki Kawamura's name. Okay? Now, to who in the UAAP can actually reach or sniff Yuki's level in the UAAP, the obvious answer for me is definitely Francis Lopez. Diba? He has all the physical tools needed to play at an NBA level or to play at the highest level of basketball. The problem right now with Francis is that his skills are not matching his athletic prowess. Diba? I think a lot of people have noticed this. He mostly just relies on straight line drives to the basket. He doesn't run a lot of plays for his teammates. He doesn't run a lot of pick and roll or any other actions. He just straight line drives. That's mostly his game. We've seen him. His 3-point shot is on and off, mostly off from this season. So it's not really a dependable shot if you call him that. But the physical tools are still there. If there's one player in the UAAP, it's him. In order to get there, I do believe he has to play at the higher levels of basketball. Because honestly, he's dominating now in the UAAP because he's way bigger, he's way more athletic than anyone in the UAAP. And I don't think NBA scouts or any other scouts in other high-level pro leagues are gonna notice Francis playing in a collegiate league in the Philippines. They just don't consider the UAAP that competitive of a league. If Francis wants to go to the NBA and make to the NBA, which was his goal, I think. That's why he signed the contract with Overtime Elite. He has to play in leagues that will elevate the level of competition and force him to elevate his game. That is one thing that went well for Yuki Kawamura. He was playing in the B League where the level of competition is much higher. A lot is due to the two import system that they have in the B League. Diba? In the B League, they have two imports. Nasanay si Yuki maglaro against higher level of competition, against bigger guys, which is now helping him in the NBA, which helped him in the Olympics, which now helping him get playing time and get noticed in the NBA. The strength of Yuki is he figured out how to shoot from Steph Curry range. He's a terrific shooter, and he knows how to play make with other big men. Just look at what he did for Kai Soto. As Maui has always said, diba? Na-unlock niya si Kai Soto in the B League. Kai Soto struggled in his first season in the B League. When he transferred to, I think, Yokohama, tama ba? Yung team nila, the Yokohama
Yep.
Corsairs.
Corsairs.
He was getting a ton of buckets just off passes from Yuki Kawamura. Because Yuki Kawamura is a great playmaker. He developed that. If you watch Yuki Kawamura a few years ago, he wasn't the same player now. He developed because he adjusted his game to higher levels of competition. And that's what Francis has to do. I don't think Francis is gonna make it to the NBA if he stays in the UAAP until he's 24 or 25. That's gonna be too old na. Masyado na yung advance in his age that scouts are probably gonna pass on him. So if I were Francis and he wants to get to the level of a Yuki Kawamura, he has to go to somewhere like the B League, like the NBL in Australia, EuroLeague kung kaya, somewhere where the competition level is higher. About where he's facing guys who are bigger, who are more talented, who are as athletic as him, and if he shines there, if he develops his game there, maybe you could sniff the level of a Yuki Kawamura. But he's the only player so far that I can foresee to have a chance to get to Yuki's level. Maui, I'm sure may answer ka dito.
Yeah, I think what Commissioner Noli Iyala tweeted is hilarious, crazy, in my opinion. Yuki Kawamura is on a different level, di ba? As Gab mentioned, he was one of the best guards during the recently concluded Olympics, di ba? He was the MVP of the B League. Even yung Filipinos that get to the B League don't have the same impact as a Kawamura did, di ba? I think what separates Kawamura from everyone from the Philippines, not just in the UAAP, is the fact that he made the pro team at an early age, diba? I think he was already a pro player when he was 19 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So that has been 4 years. He's been building it up for 4 years, diba? It probably helps that the B League also exploded, diba? To a very reputable league. The UAAP is not on the same level as a B League, diba? UAAP is a non-professional league. The B League is a professional league. And that's where some of the NBA level imports play. Yuki Kawamura winning the MVP award is a testament to him being one of the best, if not the best player in the B League. And him having that breakout season sa Olympics, which is the pinnacle of basketball, where all of the elite alphas from all of the leagues around the world play, really is a testament as to why he was noticed by the Memphis Grizzlies, diba? I don't think there is a Filipino at the same level of Kawamura. You can argue that maybe in the past, si Jason Castro could have been noticed by other teams, but he wasn't as consistent, he wasn't as steady as a Yuki Kawamura is. Si Kawamura has been very steady, has been the best player on the Japan team every single game. If you watch the Olympics, diba? Even if Watanabe was there, even if they had a naturalized player, he was still their most important player, which hasn't been the case for any Filipino in years previous, diba? It's always been Castro has always been probably the second or third best player. Now, if you're talking about a player who would make it to the NBA from the UAAP, I would say if Gab was to pick Lopez, the other easy pick would be Kevin Kiambao. The problem with Kevin Kiambao is he's the same age as Yuki Kawamura, diba? And Kawamura has had 4 years, as I've said, has had 4 years of professional experience, has been the star player of a national team who is thriving also, diba? The Japan national team made it to the Olympics for the first time. So the resume that Yuki Kawamura was able to build in that 4 year span is very hard for KQ to match, diba? And he's playing a point guard. Kevin Kiambao will have to probably play the shooting guard if it goes to the NBA. But if I were to bet any UAAP player, then maybe KQ could make it during his late 20s. We've seen players still make it to the NBA at age 25 and 27, still have an impact. So maybe if he continues to improve the same way that he has improved the past few seasons, maybe he could surprise us. But realistically speaking, I still believe that Kai Soto is the only Filipino with the highest chance the Filipino that has the highest chance to make it to the NBA, because he's starting to dominate also in a reputable league. I think that's something we have to wait out for Kevin Kiambao. That's one of the main reasons why we believe why I believe personally, and I've been saying this the past year or so, that KQ has had to go pro. Diba? Because that's how we truly know what his ceiling would be, how would he translate in a professional league. But unfortunately, he's 23 years old, and maybe the NBA is not in the cards. Maybe the Summer League rumors are true. We'll know soon. Diba? But if I were to pick a player, it has to be Kevin Cambao. Sam.
Love the picks. Kevin Camba was my top of mind pick. But I do love the Francis Lopez pick. He's 2 years younger than KQ. As you guys mentioned, age is also very important when you're considering developing or recruiting someone for the NBA, diba? So important na medyo bata pa para may higher ceiling. And I think to answer the question, if not, how come no one from the UAAP can make it to the NBA like Yuki Kawamura? I think you mentioned it, Maui, yung age din, no? Yung development ni Yuki Kawamura at a very early age. And when I googled this, it's very interesting to know na Yuki made it to the B League actually at age 18. He was the youngest ever to make it to the B League. Tapos he was actually still a student. Tapos he was being loaned to a B League team. So maybe to San En nga, Neo Phoenix, so former team of 3D Ravenna. So maybe that's something that they can look into kasi at age 18, you're still studying, you're still playing for your high school team nga ang nabasa ko dito, high school team, college team, but you're actually playing professionally din. Oh, you're still playing professionally. So maybe it's something that these guys can look into para at least ma-develop mo guys like KQ, Francis Lopez at an even younger age, and get to see them play against professional guys, diba? So, maybe that's something that's worth looking into if you wanna replicate what yung success ni Yuki Kawamura from a very young age, and now he has a 2-way contract at the age 23 in the NBA. Okay, moving on. Interesting question. Let's move on from Pinas Rap Battle. I just want to add that what to watch out for DLSU UST game to. So we're done with that. My first question to you, as a LaSalle fan, since you're from Ateneo, is who is your favorite DLSU player of all time? Okay, maganda to because mga Atenista to eh. So I'm gonna ask Mr. Maui Yap. First, sino ang favorite DLSU player mo of all time? The guy who doesn't have a green shirt. Mr.
Lalabas ang age ko dito eh. But if I were to pick, two players came into my mind quickly, di ba? Renzo Netualo, but I only was able to watch him for a season. So I'd have to pick the player that I was able to watch for a couple of seasons. It has to be Cool Cat. Mike Cortez, di ba?
Good pick.
It has to be him, di ba? When we were in grade school, a lot of my friends were also idolized Mike Cortez despite us studying in Ateneo, di ba? Mike Cortez was the Allen Iverson of the Philippines. When I was that age, my idol was Allen Iverson before it became T-Mac. It has to be Mike Cortez, di ba? He is very flashy. I mean, the nickname is so good. The Cool Cat, diba? He's very relaxed.
Cool Cat.
Diba? And he's a point guard. Used to play point guard before, and he was able to make a huge impact despite the UAP during that time having a very big man centric lineup or big man centric offense, diba? LaSalle was different during that time. They had bruisers as big man. They didn't have big men as scorers. They had wing players like Cardona and Joseph Yo, and they had Mike Cortez, who was the star of the team and the MVP of the team. I loved how Cortez was able to change the landscape of the UAAP. It's one of the reasons why players like L.A. Tenorio was able to thrive also in the UAAP, because Mike Cortez was probably the lone point guard, really being that center of their offense during a time where big men were posting up and dominating inside was the thing. Diba? I love Mike Cortez because of his swagger. Definitely, of all LaSalle players, I would say Mike Cortez is that player who really I idolize. And I'm excited Kasi diba next season, we'll see his son. Jacob Cortez, who top for
who's
Lasal.
just as flashy. Who's just as flashy.
Who's just as flashy, who's just as athletic, di ba? If you watch the social media right now, I think there was a time Lasal was doing a dunk contest and Jacob Cortez, not even 6 feet tall, I think, went between his legs or dunked on a windmill. I think that's one of the things that was cool about Mike Cortez. He was a point guard, but he was dunking, di ba? Off steals. Cab.
Nickname pa lang Cool Cat Talo na wala na. Tapos
Yung
na
fashion din ni Mike Cortez yung contributed to him. Badass.
Allen Iverson talaga, no?
Hindi nga, si Allen Iverson may sleeves. Si Mike Cortez, long white socks.
Tsaka headband.
Tsaka
Headband and one Tai Chis, which were the end shoes back then. Remember that, Sam? The end one Tai Chis?
Yeah.
And once, yeah.
I didn't see the Tai Chis first on Vince Carter. I saw it on Mike Cortez. And those were the cool shoes back then. He had the vibe. He had the cool tats as well. The cool game. Incredible. Yung great pick, Maui. For my pick for my favorite Lasal player, it's Ryan Aranya. Joke lang, gago. Yung sa kanya.
The OG!
The OG guy I love to hate on. I hate Ryan Aranya. He was the worst Lasal player I've ever watched. So anyway, my pick for this, I couldn't pick between the two, so I'll just name the two. First was Ben Mbala.
Of course.
Yes, I freaking love this dude. I freaking love Ben Mbala. I love and I am so afraid of this freaking dude. Because every time Ateneo went up against him, I was so scared for my team's life because I knew Ben was gonna eat us alive. I just knew that he was gonna dominate. He had that spectacular dunk out of Thomas Torres alley-oop in the finals, I think. And just it just sank my heart when he made that dunk because I knew wala na, talo na ang Ateneo. Diba? In that season 79 finals.
Iconic yun. Iconic dunk.
Iconic.
YouTube that, guys.
He flew. He was a guy when I first saw him play. I think I first saw him play in what college was he in Cebu?
SWU, I think.
SWU. I saw him then parang wow. This guy, why is he playing here in the Philippines? And when I saw him in the UAAP, still the same reaction. Why is this guy in the UAAP? He's so good. Is he in the UAAP? He played the center, but you can legitimately see he had wing skills. He had the speed, the foot speed, the handles to play on the wing in the international level. He was a center in Lasal, but he was definitely more than that. So Big Ben and the body too. Once you see Big Ben on TV and in the arena and you see his wide shoulders, talagang nakakatakot siya na tao. But he was one of my favorite Lasal players to watch. So dominant. I still think, sorry Ange, I still think he is the GOAT of FSAs in the UAAP. We've had that argument before, but he's still mine. I still love Ben Mbala. My second player is JV Casio because he bucked the trend of all Lasal players I've watched. In all of my time watching the UAAP basketball, he was the exception of all Lasal players because he was not he was not trash talking. He wasn't
flashy.
He wasn't flashy. He wasn't physical. He let his game do the talking. Talagang very quiet player, low down, but deadly in the clutch. He was such a good player for me. I loved watching JV Casio. Always hit clutch shots. I can always remember, I think, game 2 of the finals against UE in 2007. We were watching on the TV and my dad said, I think UE had a 1 or a 2-point lead and my dad said, JV Casio is going to make this shot. And he did. To give Lasal the lead. Just an amazing guy to watch. JV Casio, always clutch and just very different from all the Lasal players I've watched in my life. And he was small too. Diba? Yun pa yung isa kay JV. Ang liit niya, ang payat niya, pero he didn't give an inch and was essentially a unicorn at his age. At at that age of UAAP basketball, diba? Small guard shooting a ton of threes, unheard of. So JV Casio and Benembala. Sam, sino favorite Lasal player mo?
I love the pick, but as a guy who plays big man, the forward position, I have to go with big men. I have two also. My first one is Jason Perkins, the hefty lefty. Nickname pa lang, panalo na para sa akin. I love the way this guy plays. Developed his 3-point shot. I think that really helped him get a good career when he turned pro. I also watched him sa 3-on-3 games. He's very effective sa 3-on-3. Gusto ko din yung may onting lasal angas na player eh. And Jason Perkins was angas nung time na yon. And he was also unstoppable. Strong rebounder. Gusto ko yung pag nakakatres siya, yung magbabob siya ng head ng ganyan. May yabang siya eh. So, the perfect Lasal player for me, Jason Perkins, the hefty lefty. But on the other spectrum, I love the JV Casio pick. I wanted to pick him also, but since pinili mo siya, I do have a similar pick to JV Casio. I think for me, Santi Santillan is one of my favorite
Santi.
Lasal players. Yeah, because again, I love yung parang versatile forward position playing style niya. I love yung semi-hook niya na classic shot niya sa Lasal. And another guy that's not really mayabang or angas or very quiet guy, unassuming guy. I think it was just unfortunate for Santi na he was the quote-unquote superstar of the team when Lasal was bad. So medyo forgettable yung seasons niya with Lasal. But he was really good for Lasal and also a guy who got a really good pro career playing for Coach Yan Giao in Rain or Shine now. So those are my two picks actually.
All right, next question.
Okay, moving on. Sorry, ako pala yung mag-next, no. Moving on. Next question. Hi Gab, Maui, Sam. Between DLSU and UP, which team has stronger lineup for season 88? Assuming KQ decides to stay. Hope you can answer this. Thank you. That's from Nikki Ann Ramacho, 6964. Hope I said your name right. Okay, let's start with you, Gab. DLSU or UP? Better team for season 88.
Well, the key part there is, let's just say KQ decides to stay.
Mm-hmm.
It's just freaking gonna be Lasal. Because I think only VJ David is graduating from this team for this season. So they're essentially gonna have the same lineup. Let's say KQ and Mike Phillips stay. Then you add Mason Amos, an outside shooter. Luis Pablo.
I forgot about him.
Another guy, another forward. Or
Jacob Cortez.
Kian Baclaran.
Dalawang minion.
They recruit another big guy, si Dominic Sarmiento. And there's just so much talent coming into Lasal, and you put them in the mix with this team. I don't know who's gonna lose minutes because someone has to lose minutes if you're gonna bring in that many guys to play. So definitely Lasal, although UP, let's just say everyone stays in UP except for JD. It's gonna be
QMB wala na rin.
QMB, that's a big thing.
Yung NCQMB, so it's probably gonna be a lineup of a main starting five of Lopez, Baila, Abadiano, I think he's still eligible, and si Ray Remogat. And then center, you could probably put in Udodo there. You can match that up. I think you still pick Lasal. Kasi sa UP, it's 16 deep. Lasal is not as deep. But with the addition of those guys, they will be now as deep as UP with the best player in the league on their side. diba,
Lord
if
have
you like,
mercy.
Lord have mercy, if you put them like first five to first five, I think you'd pick Lasal. I mean, if you put Mike Phillips there, how would they line up? Siguro with Mason, then KQ.
KQ.
Uh, that solves the
Cortez
spacing.
Baklaan.
uh, Cortez Baclaan, that solves the spacing issues yung they've been having this season, di ba? When they play Phillips and Agonani together, and that essentially that starting five is backed up by the five from this season, di ba? Si Agonani off the bench, si Raven Cortez, si Luis Pablo coming off the bench, si Golena, si Makalalag. That's crazy how deep that
Marasigan.
lineup is going. Marasigan. So Austria, so it's Lasal for me. The talent they have coming in, assuredly yung coming in for next season makes you pick Lasal. Maui.
Ako, unahan na muna kita. I don't think Kevin Cambao is coming back for season 88. I think the level of certainty is very high right now. Nagkaanak na rin si KQ, so he has to prioritize different things. I don't know if Lasal can still afford him after another big season with all of those key recruits. But I would say Lasal, just because of the continuity, just because of them having Mike Phillips and those two very terrific point guards coming in. When we talk about the UAAP, usually the teams that come out on top have the best big man and have the best point guard, diba? UP might get Rimogat next year, but Lasal is getting Baclaan and Cortez. Diba? Cortez was the cornerstone of San Beda when they won the championship. Baclaan was the cornerstone of NU, who always made it as a top 2 team in the UAAP. I think it helps a lot that they committed very early to Lasal. I think all of those 4 top recruits that Gab mentioned have been playing together. Diba? If you look at social media, all of those 4 players are training together, playing together. So the chemistry will be there for sure. Integrating them into a lineup that has, as Gab mentioned, only VJ David leaving would have that continuity also. But if KQ is there, without a doubt, diba, they would be the best team. And it's the main reason, Gab mentioned it best. They have the best player, yet they still have that level of depth, diba, from all positions. I think that without a doubt, LaSalle would be the best team in the UAAP. Maybe they convince KQ, maybe Ninong Enrique Razon takes out his checkbook and pays KQ an astronomical amount
Tito
of
Ricky.
money. But I think KQ has to go pro. Definitely, diba? We were just talking about this from the previous question. He's 23 years old. If he wants to get to a top tier league, then he has to start going pro. So I don't think that he will be coming back. But despite that, I think LaSalle will still compete at the highest level, even if KQ leaves. Sam?
Yeah, it's Lasal for me. Big loss. If you look at UP, big loss, JD Kagulangan, QMB. Rere Mogat is a great point guard, MVP contender, pero iba pa rin yung JD, who's proven it on the grandest stage. He hit clutch shots. He's a champion point guard, the best point guard in the UAAP this season. So, the fact na mawawala yung guys na yun and KQ stays for Lasal with all the guys that are coming in, I think that's an easy pick. Assuming na KQ stays. Okay, moving on. Next question. Dream UAAP team even from past seasons. That's coming from Alab 1334. Dream UAAP team. Rapid fire, Dream UAAP team, Maui.
Ateneo, 16-0. Siyempre, diba, you want to be in the team that's invincible.
Good pick.
Ako, wala, tied para sa akin yung season 79 Lasal with Ben Embala and Jeron Teng still there. Richie Rivero coming off the bench. Abu Tratter, Prince Rivero, Thomas Torres, Aljun Melesio coming off the bench.
Hefty lefty.
Jason Perkins. That's my first. And my second is 2013 season. I forgot what season that is anymore. But the 2013, my last year in college, the Ateneo Blue Eagles, with Greg Slaughter, Kiefer Ravena, Nico Salva, Wami Chongson, Nico Elorde, Justin Chua was the backup when he started a few seasons ago. Frank Golia, Ryan Buenafe. That team was stacked. Eric Salamat, I forgot about Eric Salamat. Or was he still there? No, he wasn't.
Wala na.
Wala na pala. So, Torino Gonzaga, those guys, man, that team was incredibly stacked, and they played in an era that suited their style of play. That suited Coach Norman Black's style of play. Diba? Basically, not a lot of three-pointers were being put up in that era of basketball in the UAAP, and it suited them that they took a lot of mid-rangers and went to a lot of Greg Slaughter post-ups. So, those two teams are my dream UAAP teams.
Okay, so I looked at this question and thought na I answered it differently. I thought na something that parang may what if scenario kasi dream UAAP team even from past seasons. So ako, the one team that I do wanna say na parang dream UAAP team or big what if for me was imagine that Ateneo, that Coach Tab, three-peat teams, sina Ange, sina 30, but with Dwight Ramos. That's the big what if for Ateneo. If COVID did not happen, we would have seen that team. Ange 30, SJ Balangel, Tyler Tio, Gian Mamuyak with Dwight Ramos. So, yun yung parang medyo big what if dream team ko sa UAAP. Okay, moving on. Sorry. There was another question here. How did you guys become friends? So I just lumped them together with the other questions. Question for part 2. How did the three of you meet? Why did you start a podcast? I've been a subscriber since last year. So this is from Cosmic Girl X. Shout out to her. Pareho kaming sipa ng accountancy ng UP. Anyway, how did the three of us become friends? Siguro I can start. Maui is, actually, it's really basketball. Tama ka dyan, Maui. So, naging friends kami dahil sa basketball. Let me just share a quick story. Si Maui is actually my neighbor. I did not know him. Hindi ko alam na magkapit-bahay kami. It was our dads who told us na, our dads are batchmates, by the way. It was our dads who told us na, may anak yung friend ko, si Maui, hanapin mo siya, batchmate mo siya. Fortunately, that year, Maui, we became classmates, grade 5. So, grade 5 kami nag-meet ni Maui. And we became friends because of basketball. Played 2K in the morning, played basketball at night with all of Maui's cousins. Kilala ko lahat ng mga pinsan niya dahil every night nagba-basketball kami. With Gab, I met Gab later on. High school. Actually, before I met Gab, mayabang yan, nayayabangan ako kay Gab. Lahat naman tayo nayayabangan.
Tago ka!
Mayabang yan maglakad eh. Sikat yan, guys, sa batch because mayabang yan maglakad. But, naging friends kami because, number one, Gab, na-mention ko na to, si Gab nagtuturo sa akin nung first year math, nung nahihirapan ako. But also because, we won 3rd place sa intrams namin sa high school, first year high school, nag-3rd place kami. Si Gab hit the game-winning free throws. So, sabi ko, kampi ko na lagi to sa PEC Gablim kasi magaling to mag-basketball. So, that's how I became friends with them.
Unheard of yun mag-3rd place ang honor section sa isang basketball tournament. Usually yung mga nerds yung last place. Pero hindi kami. Tama yan, Sammy.
Game winner, game-winning free throws, Gab. Gab and Maui, I know you guys were classmates in elementary also.
Yeah, magklase kami ni Maui, grade 6. I actually did not know Sam Santos until nung high school. But yung kami ni Maui nung grade 6, magkaklase. Nung nag-basketball pa si Maui noon. Now, hindi na siya masyado nag-basketball because of his knees. But, grade 6, palagi kami nagkikita ni Maui sa UAAP games. So, you're wondering kung bakit kami nag-UAAP
sa
podcast.
UAAP ever since.
Bakit UAAP yung topic ng podcast namin? Because matagal na kami nanonood ng UAAP basketball.
Bata pa lang kami.
At kami na class. Nakat kami ng class. para manood ng UAAP basketball. I think until high school yung kahit hindi ko na classmate si Maui noon, hindi ko na siya masyadong nakakausap noon until high school. Palagi pa rin kami nakikita ni Maui sa UAAP games until high school because that was before I went to college. Nung college, sa Gen Ad na ako dahil bubble na ako eh. So hindi ko na nakakita si Maui noon. But until high school, palagi ko na nakakita si Maui. Every Ateneo game in the UAAP, Maui was always there with his dad. Always with his dad. Palagi ko na alala yung tatay mo, Maui. Kasi it's hard to miss the two of you.
Okay.
Yung kay Sammy, as I mentioned, first year high school, honor section, I'm still proud. 4 years kami yung magkaklase ni Sammy. So, alam na ni Sammy lahat ng kababalaghan na ginagawa ko. Sanay na sa akin. Kahit anong sabihin ko dito sa podcast, alam ko hindi ako i-unfriendly sa Sammy ever. Sana.
Ingat ka.
Gago ka. So, yun. And actually, sinasabi niya na yung gusto niya ako kakampi sa basketball. Pero actually, palagi kaming magkalaban sa basketball. Sammy always wants to guard me. Although he can't
panisin
stop
ko si
me.
Gab pero hindi ko magawa.
He
Pero
can't really stop me most of the time.
Wait lang, Gab loves picking me in his team kasi I'm the only guy who keeps passing the ball to him.
Yeah!
Alam mo yan, Gab. Gusto mo ako dahil
yan.
pinapasa ko sa yung bola. Anyway. Yeah, good question. So, why did you start the podcast, you guys? Nasagot na ni Gab. UAAP addicts tong dalawa. We just want
We love the UAAP.
We love the UAAP, and because of the pandemic, sobrang na-miss namin yung UAAP. We missed out on technically 1.5 seasons of the UAAP. So we wanted a channel to express yung passion namin for UAAP. Maui, anything you want to add to this question before we move on to the next?
Yeah, I think really it's just the joy of watching UAAP and basketball that really brought us three together, di ba? We became friends primarily because we want to play basketball, and we watch the UAAP, and coincidentally, maybe 20 years after, we decided to make a podcast because of our passion for the game and for the UAAP.
Actually, yung kailangan din yung mag-podcast about UAAP. Dahil ang dami mong feelings after a UAAP game. So, kung minsan, mas excited pa nga ako kausapin kayong dalawa kaysa sa actual na game Kasi, ang dami ko yung gusto pag-usapan. Pero wala akong masyadong kausap. Kaya yung kailangan sa amin, Maui.
Yun. Kaya yung mga commenters din natin, just comment down below yung mga feelings nyo pag-usapan natin. Okay, moving on. Probably we'll end with this question kasi medyo marami to. So, sorry, hindi ko pala nalagay yung name mo dito. But we did shout him out in previous episode. Si Ronaldo. Si Ronaldo to, I'm assuming Ron yung nickname niya. So, shout out to Ron. And his office mate Jackie and Ron's wife si Edge. So the question goes, hi Boleros, my office mate and I are avid fans of your YouTube channel. Since may pa-Q&A soon, here's some of the questions na naisip namin. So let's just rapid fire. Let's run through these questions, Gab and Maui. So how did the three of you meet? We're done with that. What's the dynamics of your friendship? Sino yung tahimik, maingay, mapera ko ripat? May ano ba kayo picks dito? Sinabi ko na yung sa akin kanina kay Gabin, kay Maui. Gab, anything you wanna add here?
I think ako yung pinakamaingay. Ewan ko, si Sam, tahimik lang yan sa during gatherings and games. Si Maui, alam ko maingay yan. Toxic yan pang game
Magulo din ako.
Nangaaway yan.
Maingay. Oy, hindi ako, never ako nang away. Ako yung inaaway. Diba?
Ikaw yung inaaway. Ako, I cheer. Dahil nga, I was a cheerleader. So, malakas ako mag-cheer. I'm very outspoken with cheering for the team. Although, I can't now, which hurts me. But, yun. Sino mapera, kuripot? Well, kuripot ako. Siguro si Maui pinamapera yung galing lang sa Italy at Switzerland kung saan sobrang mahal.
Baliw. Kuripot din ako.
Yeah. Okay. Ikaw, Sam, kuripot ka ba o mapera? Alam ko, kuripot ka rin
Kuripot ako, pero pag may bagong sapatos, minsan hindi ko matiis So, yun. Good yeah, I think si Gab yung maingay, si Maui makulit din yan. Pero mabait naman silang dalawa. Lalo na si Gab kasi birthday ni Gab ngayon. Siya yung pinakamabait na tao sa buong mundo. So yun. Next question. What is your work outside podcasting? So Gab and I think answered this question previously.
Yep.
Maui. Since wala ka nung previous mailbag.
Giddy up.
Small business owner lang, and I help out with the family business, but mostly small business owner. Yeah, yun lang.
Okay, for each of you, what basketball-related moniker would you give to the other two? Gab?
Sam, ikaw mauna.
sige.
I'm interested.
Actually, it's not, for me, it's not a moniker, pero I would say parang NBA comparisons yung naisip ko for this question. Si Gab, Zibo yan para sa akin. Sobrang
Sakto
lakas
naisip
sa
ko.
loob. Banger! Sobrang lakas sa loob. Pero you can't stop his mid-range jumper. Na-mention ni Gab, I love guarding Gab. I'm taller than Gab, but for some reason di ko masupalpal yung ano niya, yung post-up fadeaway mid-range jumper niya. Kailangan talaga i-timing mo kasi onting bunggu lang niya sa'yo, tatalsik ka na . And that's why Gab works out, 'di ba? Para kaya kanyang bungguin and get that space to hit that mid-range shot. Maui, I remember when he used to play ano ba, pag local comparison, siguro Willie Miller yung local comparison ko kay Maui. Kapag medyo NBA comparison, Dion Waiters, yung mga stocky point guard. Kasi si Maui, very intense, smart player, pero just like Gab, actually, Maui knows how to use his body.
Magulang
against,
din. Magulang
smaller
din.
point guards. Magulang. Yun yung masasabi ko. Very smart player yan si Maui. So, more of NBA comparisons yung naisip ko for this pick. Gab.
Well, ako, obvious yung sa'yo, Sam the stash, because that's your most defining characteristic. Guys, ever since I've known Sam, may mustache na si Sam. Bata pa lang kami. Wala pa akong facial hair, may mustache na si Sam. I don't know how much testosterone he had to grow that much facial hair when we were 14 or 15, but he already had that thick of a stash when we were 14 or 15. So the stash is something I've always wanted to call Sam. That's the best moniker. Kay Maui, actually may something na tinawag yung kaibigan mo, Mau. I think si Lavarias ata yung nagsabi nun sa'yo. The Prophet! I love that! Yung moniker na yun. The Prophet! I do remember si Noel Lavarias entered our comments at sabi niya, The Prophet, Maui Yap. That's a good moniker for Maui. Kasi honestly, that was a time, Maui, na pinidict mo na Ateneo mag-champion ng season 85. Diba? Tapos kami ni Sammy parang, no way, humina Ateneo.
No way.
Ang daming rotation players na wala sa Ateneo, they're not gonna compete. They've looked bad in the preseason. Pero
Sa Salbata kayo nun.
Oh! Diba?
Yep.
Tapos si Maui lang sabi, I'm picking Ateneo for the champion, and eventually Ateneo nag-champion. The Prophet is a good nickname for Maui. Usually yung mga prophecies niya nagka-come true. So the Prophet.
Yeah, ako naman, if I were to say something related to Sam, pag kay Gab siguro, Mr. Big Body. Diba?
Yeah.
Tapos kay Sam naman, I would say probably, yung Yahoo Messenger niya, actually maganda Perfect.
Binuking mo naman yung Yahoo Messenger ko.
Yahoo Messenger ni Sam before. Dahil nga yun.
Grabe, ang tanda mo na Maui Yahoo
Bata pa lang tayo, balbo na si Sam. So as Gab mentioned, Sam had a mustache very early. So perfect.
The Perfect. Ngayon ko na naalala yun. Paano naalala yun?
Galing ni Maui, nakalimutan ko na nga By the way, quick story about the mustache. Naalala ko nung high school kami ni Gab. We were getting our ID picture taken and obviously bawal yung facial hair nung high school kami. Medyo strict pa noon. Gab grew facial hair nung summer. That was summer. I had my ID picture taken first. Okay, approved. Alis na ako. And then when it was Gab's turn, hinuli siya nung principal or something na vice principal. Uy, bawal ka magpa-ID picture. May facial hair ka, may bigote. Tapos si Gab parang, ha? Yung nauna sa akin. Sino? And then I just ran away kasi baka mamaya hulihin pa nila ako eh. So, that was a funny story about Gab and his facial hair then. Okay, moving on. If the three of you would be playing as teammates, what would be your position? And who would you pick as your two other teammates from the current UAAP players? Gab, maybe you can... Gab and Maui, maybe you can answer this. Ano ba position mo?
Well, nung bata ako, I used to play center but I didn't grow anymore. After I was 15, I stopped growing.
Same.
And everyone outgrew me. So I had to transition into a guard/wing. So I developed my shooting. Kaya ni Sammy, I haven't developed a 3-point shot, pero the mid-range is always my go-to. So I like the mid-range. My knees are kind of pretty painful already. So spot-up shooter na lang yung laro ko these days. So for players that I would love to get teammates, siyempre yung gusto ko yung pinapasahan ako for my mid-range shot. So you put me down for JD.
Okay.
Ikagulangan
We
because
need a guard. We need the point guard on the team.
Yeah, we need a point guard. So someone to get me the ball and at the right spot. And JD always gets his teammates the ball at the right spot. He's that great of a distributor. For the other one,
maybe Maui can pick the other
Maui,
player
ikaw.
on the team. Maui, ano position mo? Tapos sino yung other player on the team?
I'd probably play, because of my knees also, diba? I'd play the shooting guard. Then maybe Sam and Gab can be the small forward and power forward. I would have to pick Mike Phillips. Diba? Parang sarap maging kakampi ni Mike Phillips. When you have that energy guy, when you have that guy who dives for the ball, gives his all to win the game. Is somebody probably I would say everyone likes to be teammates with, diba? Walang reklamo. He doesn't need to get the ball. He just gets the ball and gives you the ball, diba? He doesn't have to get shots.
Oh, masarap yun. Outlet na lang yung aantayin mo kayo kay Mike Phillips.
Spot up lang tayong tatlo eh, no? Spot up lang. Bahala na kayo, JD and Mike, ha? Basta, Gab, ikaw magbabantay kay KQ, ha?
Ay, ako bahala.
Okay, moving on. Just curious, may naging long hair na ba sa inyo? Parang wala. Maui, nag-long hair ka ba?
I did!
Ako,
Sammy!
afro.
Mahaba.
Yung afro mo, hindi long hair. Afro. Gab had an afro in high school. Yeah.
Ako, pero not as long naman. Hindi
Okay,
ponytail,
mahaba.
long.
Alright, okay. Pero, guys, if you're curious, we'll look for that afro picture of Gab. So,
Yeah, yung long hair ko hindi bumababa. It just goes up.
tumataas.
Curly ako eh. Kulot ako eh. Kulot.
Which is related to the other question. Can the three of you show us an old high school or college photo? So, abangan nyo yun, guys. We will look for those photos. We will post them on Instagram at BolerosPH. So, please, like and follow our Instagram page para mahanap nyo yung high school photos na yun. Unusual hobbies. Before we go, unusual hobbies. How do you see Boleros in the next 5 to 10 years? Any unusual hobbies?
Ikaw muna, Sam. What's your unusual hobby?
Unusual hobbies? Wala naman. I like art. Yung family ko is very into art. My wife actually graduated from fine art. So, anytime we get to travel, we love, other than visiting yung mga sites, we love going to museums. Gab and Maui has been to my house. Maraming mga artworks dito. That's how we grew up. So, maybe that's one unusual thing about us. But most of the time, I just spend it with my daughter and my wife then.
Maui, anong unusual hobby mo?
Pwede ba foodie?
Oo naman.
Mahanap ng best pizza in the world. No, but I think one unusual hobby not related to sports, it's esports, diba? I love playing Dota, watching
yan,
Dota.
Guys.
It's like basketball. Analyzing Dota is like analyzing basketball for me. Yeah. Gab.
Ako, di naman siya unusual, but I'm into coffee. I got into it because in med school, you needed a lot of coffee because grabe ang the late nights, the sleepless nights that you would have as a med student. countless. So I fell in love with coffee. I drank a lot of coffee in med school. Eventually got into it a lot. A friend of Sam and I is also a coffee addict, and he introduced me to a lot of specialty coffee, the different types of brews, the different types of brewers. Lahat niyan, alam ko na lahat yan. Every time I go to another country, I always look for good specialty coffee shops. Uh, look for good beans, try and taste different types of brews. Love good. So I don't know if that's unusual, but that's my newest hobby. Coffee. I got into it especially in the pandemic. And I do a pour over every single day. Every day in the morning, nag-pour over ako ng sarili kong kape.
Maarte yan si Gabi. Anyway, serious question, final question to end the show. How do you guys see Boleros in the next 5 to 10 years? Not sure what these guys will answer, but to be honest with you guys, very very chill about this. Like, we don't really plan anything long term. Some people have been frustrated na ganun kami, but we just take it day by day. It's something that we do out of passion, out of our hobby. Passion lang talaga. So, we don't know, but hopefully Boleros will still be there in 5 to 10 years. Gabor, Maui, anything you want to add here?
Ako, yung gusto ko magka-studio tayo, pare.
The
I think mas
classic
maganda
factory?
yung parang No Dunks, if anyone's watching the No Dunks podcast, they do have a studio in, I think, one of their friends' garages. So baka pwede yung in the future, I think mas maganda yung usapan, mga dun tayong tatlo eh. Same na, in the same space. Mas nakakatawa. So I do want that, and possibly in 5 to 10 years, baka pwede tayo mag-expand to other leagues. Some of our subscribers have been clamoring for us to cover the NCAA, the PBA, baka hindi PBA, pero let's see kung gumanda PBA, why not?
Other sports,
NBA,
volleyball.
Yeah, multi-sports. Esports. If we have a studio.
The NBA, of course. All three of us watch the NBA. We follow the NBA. We all have our teams. Well, actually, lahat kami Laker fans. Pero yun.
Ako hindi ako Laker fan. LeBron fan ako.
LeBron fan niya. Hence, Laker fan ka, Maui. So, yun. So, hopefully, we get to talk about some NBA in the future. Maui and I play fantasy basketball. Maybe that's one topic we can explore also. So, baka mag-expand tayo to others sana. But for now, it's UAAP. Yun yung pinaka-manageable for us now eh. Maui, may dagdag ka?
Yeah, I think you said it plainly. Really expand to different things, but we love the UAAP, diba? And it's something we'll not live with, diba? We always watch the games live. It's part of our lives, which is why it's easy to have a UAAP podcast for us guys. It's already integrated into our lives, diba? We just had to make probably time to talk within friends. That's what our podcast is mostly about. Some friends talking about UAAP games. So let's see. Maybe we can expand to different sports. Maybe we can expand to different things. But I like what Gab said. Maybe if we have a studio, we can start thinking about different things.
So, to all our listeners out there, pa-sponsor naman ng studio tsaka equipment. Equipment para let's make it happen. Anyway, that's it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. A bit of a personal view into the Boleros, the three of us. Sorry, wala kasing game nung Sunday because someone decided to schedule it in UST during Ustet. Anyway, that's it for today's episode. We'll see you again next time. Very exciting games this Wednesday, Ateneo Adamson. Sorry, nakalimutan ko yung next game, but we will cover those games.
UPUE.
UPUE yun, UPUE. We will cover those
games. Big game.
Again next time. Another big game. Comment, like, share with your friends, subscribe. Send your questions. Bye-bye.